okay, Mary, we made a move. We made a move because it's your chair.
No, we can sit together.
Okay, that's different. I did.
Pretty good,
I thought he was coming.
pretty good. He just,
There he is.
Just in time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sorry I'm late.
Nope, you're not late
You're
yet.
on time, just barely though.
Just barely, yeah. I was gonna say, did I miss the flash?
No.
I just had surgery yesterday.
How was everybody?
Carpal
Good.
tunnel.
Good, how are you?
I had those
Pretty good.
two
You haven't fried yet?
Am I what?
tuberculosis.
You haven't fried yet, brain?
No, not yet. Getting close.
Yeah. I should have had it done years ago, but
I'm not sure what that means either.
in fact, the doctor said, this is the one I really want done. Oh, might as well do this one too. Oh,
That one working?
Oh, pardon?
Is that iPad working?
It is.
Good.
That's as far as I've gotten.
yeah.
They don't, I'm gonna.
You know, I've been thinking about getting back into it. Now, maybe, if I have this taken care of.
Well, I know that, but I mean, does he know that he got judgment
No,
for
I
that
have to
amount?
mail it to them.
Oh, great.
Good.
Be a happy
Our
camper.
son is too.
I'm not finishing that yet, we're still in the process.
Yeah. 6:31, I guess we gotta start.
I didn't know this. Here,
You got everything?
this is our address at the store.
We're on.
Yes, we're on.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Kalinsky. Here. German. Stigler.
Here.
Gurecki.
Here.
Buckles.
Open meeting law compliance check. The agenda was posted on the 3 village public notice boards, the village website, and distributed to all news media requesting notification in accordance with the open meeting laws on or before 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Citizen comments. Not seeing many citizens here tonight. I guess we're going to have to dispense with those. Moving on, reports. Clerk Treasurer, do you have anything?
Nope, you were given the paperwork and, the non-compliances are moving along.
Okay. Yeah, all right. DPW, Jerry?
Everything's in your packet. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Anybody have any questions of Jerry? None. Moving on for the fire department. I know we have a packet here. We have it in our packet, rather, his report. He kind of added some things this time. I'm kind of happy with that. It's some details of what they've been doing, so I'm kind of glad to see that in the report. Kind of helps. Anybody have any questions on the fire department? Sheriff is not here. And we have that in our packet also. Weed commissioner is here. I think we have that in our packet. Anybody have any questions for the weed commissioner? Nobody?
Okay, I just wanted to make a comment. On Saturday, June 11th, I attended an 8-hour class at the Retzner Nature Center. It was for invasive and noxious weeds identification and how to eliminate things. So if any of the residents need any help with either of those areas, I've obtained some additional knowledge which I think would be beneficial to them. So I just want to let them know. Feel free to call, and we're glad to help them out as much as we can.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Mr. President,
Yes.
my only question on the weed commissioner report, and this might not be one that the commissioner can answer, it looks like there are several complaints about uncut grass, one by is it Barbarucci, another by Kathy Verhagen, and these all seem to tie back to what's become the village's responsibility to cut grass on a right-of-way. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can one of the existing board members provide some context on that, since I didn't serve on the board at that time?
I'll try. We used to have, the past administration, if you want to call it that, decided not to cut any of the weeds on ditches at all. And that became a problem for intersections and things like that, for visibility and a safety issue. Brian Fisher got elected as I think it was a chairman, or, yeah, he was elected chairman first before president. So he became chairman, and he decided to rescind that, we went back to cutting weeds on ditches and maintaining the right-of-ways. And as it stands now, is what Mike has brought up, and we talked at the meeting, we are gonna cut the weeds on all the ditches in the country, and we've decided that the right-of-way needs to be cut. We're gonna send Jerry out to cut these parcels that are not being maintained through the ditches. And that's where it stands right now. We cut the country roads, we have to cut not the county. What do you mean?
Is the village responsible for that same work on, like Guthrie Road, which is a county road?
No, that's county.
Yeah.
County's responsibility is on county roads, where our responsibility is only on village roads. So no, the county takes care of Guthrie Road and all those county highway, Lonsdale and all that. So we are gonna be cutting those weeds, Jerry is.
Trustee Gurecki, that's why I provided those ordinances in there so you could see where it was, how it progressed down the line. And the two that were in the report were in a finished subdivision, not on a, like Big Bend Road or Town Line Road. But those were only because someone complained about it. Unless there gets a complaint, that's the only time I'm gonna have to follow through with it. And the way the statutes are written, it says the property owner. Okay, well, the property owner technically is the village of Waukesha. So that's why I had to contact Jerry and had to address it. We've had that happen before.
Any other issue on there too, though, if it impedes the water flow in the ditch, we can cut
Correct.
that also, so.
Right, and that's, the current ordinance refers to unrestricted flow on there also.
I read those items in the report. Where my head started to explode was when I thought about how many miles of village road
Exactly.
there are, and I'm not even gonna say it, but the cost here, the potential cost
Exactly.
is outrageous.
Now,
Well, what I'm going to suggest is that we place this back. If people want to go into any greater detail, it's got to go on the agenda. You put it in the packet, but it's a report. And the Attorney General has said we have to be very cautious in integrating a great discussion because a lot of people are affected by whatever decision might be made regarding this. Thank you.
okay, now, commenting one last item on the one on Oak Grove, or on Oak Park Lane there, okay, that's property on the corner of, right off of Racine Avenue. And what happened was AT&T was coming in through there and the guy was complaining. Well, then he found out that that's not his property, so I got it from the lady that complained. She just told him, said flat out, well, heck with it, I'm not gonna cut it, it's not my property. So there we go. So we're just gonna take them one at a time, and there's only been a couple over the years. The one on Stonegate, that's a repeat from a couple of years ago.
I think most people are gonna wanna cut their weeds in front of their house.
Exactly, I mean-
I don't see this being an ongoing problem. I really don't. I think they're gonna figure out that it's an ugly
Yeah, but
thing
if-
and it reflects on their property themselves, whether it's on the right of way
you-
or not. This
Yeah,
has been an ongoing thing forever. We always had right of ways, so
Yeah.
I hope you're
Exactly.
right.
I hope I am too, and we'll have
Yeah.
to see how it plays out.
So if you saw the property on Stonegate, you'd understand.
Yeah, okay,
Again,
thanks.
I'm going to ask, because there's a lot of law that could be talked about here.
Right, so let's move on. Approval of the previous meeting minutes.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded by Mr. Kalinsky and seconded by Mr. Gretke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. I'm gonna, as long as we just did all our department reports, I'm going to make a statement here. We have our staff meetings, and did a little history on why the staff meetings were. The staff meetings are to cut down on some of our attorney bills and have a one-on-one with our attorney as needed. So I'm going to go back to the original reason why we had staff meetings and try to get some organization done here, because they've gotten a little bit out of control and not staying on the point of them and the reason for them. So from now on, if you want to come to a staff meeting, please call and tell me the reason you want to have a staff. I'm going to be at the meeting, and I'm going to allow 15 minutes for you to plead your cases or whatever that you want to talk about. And that's the only way we can keep these things under 2 hours. It's getting to the point that John's whole idea was that he get things answered in a timely manner so he doesn't overcharge our budget here, which I'm seeing is starting to, reflect a lot of things that's happening at staff meetings that aren't necessarily to be done there. So I guess that's where I want to stay with it, and that's what I'm going to do from this point forward. So,
Mr. President?
yes.
Just to clarify, our trustees welcome at staff meetings.
If you have an issue to address, yes. If you just want to come and watch, no.
And
That's not the point of the staff meetings. Staff meetings was for the attorney, the clerk, and the president. And if there's any issues like that, like I said, bring them to me, and I will give you a time frame to be at the staff meeting.
And is that 15 minutes per issue?
Per visit, let's put it that way. Yeah, if you want to come in and you got 2 issues, get them done in 15 minutes. I think that's the goal of this. Okay?
What if there are 10 issues?
Then you're going to have to make 10 different appointments. If you can get them done in 15 minutes, fine.
Okay.
That's kind of what I got to go with it. So, because like I said, we're trying to cut down the time that John is spending there. I mean, most of the things that you need to discuss probably could be done at a board meeting, or have an agenda, put an agenda on the board meeting, so.
So,
Because I don't want to discuss things, because it gets to the point we have board members at staff meetings, now we have to make an announcement or put it, that we're having a regular board meeting, and that's not the point of these.
the issue I have with the comment you just made is there's also an item on tonight's agenda that, if approved, would give the clerk authority to nix any agenda items apparently arbitrarily. I mean, we haven't discussed this, so
Well,
I
let's
don't want to
not
go too
go there
far.
yet, okay? Let's discuss that when we get to that, all right, Mike?
Well, I'd have a problem with staff meetings being limited if the only way that we can discuss certain items is getting them on the agenda, when further down tonight's agenda, we're talking about giving the clerk authority over what can be on the agenda or not.
Well, let's discuss that when we get to that point, okay?
So I guess, Attorney Macy, is there any problem with this proposed limitation on staff meetings? Or according to village ordinances is permitted?
Well, first, I don't know of anything. If someone knows of anything in the village ordinances about staff meetings, I'll be happy to look at it. I am not aware of anything.
I don't think there's anything.
The staff meetings for the four chairmen that I have worked for have been at the direction of the chairperson, and the chairperson has established the regulations, and until we have an ordinance or a policy established by the entire board, the village president in this case, in the past, the chairpersons called the staff meetings if they felt they were wanting, and set the rules for the staff meeting. I can just tell you that's the past practice.
I can certainly see the justification. We don't want to have a walking quorum or something like that, to your point, President, turning it into a board meeting. But at the same time, this consolidates a lot of information and eliminates transparency that has been there in some cases in the past. So if there's nothing in the ordinance prohibiting that, I guess that's the way it is, but it just comes, in my opinion, it comes off poorly.
Okay,
I'll rest there.
all right. Moving on. Discussion concerning Wisconsin Department of Transportation, East Waukesha Bypass, Sunset Drive to Arcadian Avenue, State Highway 59 Project, 2773-10-0170. I had a conference call, if you want to call it that, with the Department of Transportation about the bypass from Sunset to Arcadian. They're going to redo the road They want to put in sidewalks. We have certain little islands in between there that they're asking us if we want to put the sidewalks, install the sidewalks. And the cost of that was $241,000. And I just said, no, we don't have that kind of money, and we're not real interested in putting in sidewalks on that section of road. The other thing, too, they want a maintenance agreement with us that we take care of them. And I said, we don't have the equipment, and we looked it up, and I remembered I went through this whole thing here last winter with the sidewalk that is installed on the Waukesha West bypass. That was, I found out that that was told, we made an ordinance, I guess they did back then, stating that we would not pay for any sidewalk, we would not maintain any sidewalk, and the state went and put the sidewalk in anyway. So I've been getting phone calls this past winter about why that sidewalk's not being plowed. It doesn't front any residents or anything. It's actually in between the old Merrill Hills Road and the new bypass. So there was an ordinance on the books that said we weren't going to do that. I kind of think we may have to do that again, John. I think I mentioned this to you before, but I think when they come to the point now where they want us to do that, I think we need to come up with another ordinance for the other bypass, for the east side, to say that we're not going to maintain it. I mean, if they want to put the sidewalks in, I guess that's up to them, but I don't see that I'm in favor of us paying $240,000 for that. It's not in our budget, and I don't know where we'd come up with it. So you guys can weigh in on that. There's nothing to do at this point, I guess, on it, but that's kind of the message I gave to them. I told them we'd bring it up at our meeting, and having just 3 of us tonight, I don't have an opinion from the other 2, so I guess you guys want to weigh in at this point, give me your opinion, great.
I agree with your rationale.
Okay.
Sidewalks aren't something I'm generally in favor of if we don't have the equipment, especially with the mowing issues that were just raised that are already part of the ordinance. I'm not looking to take more maintenance expense and more time, more labor on for the sake of the sections of sidewalk that are indicated on the plan.
Yeah, they want us to, that's a separate issue, is the maintenance agreement. The agreement to put in the sidewalks is separate too. So I mean, I'm just gonna, it's up for you guys, I'm gonna say no. Say no. Okay. Moving on. Discussion and possible action, modifications to the existing wireless telecommunication facility on the property located at South 31 West 24651 Sunset Drive, tax key WAKT 1354998 for AT&T to relocate 6 existing antennas and associated equipment, remove 3 existing antennas and associated equipment, and install 3 new antennas and associated equipment. What they're basically doing is swapping them out, so I don't see that being a problem. We've had these before, so. Anybody want to, we need to have a board approval on this, I believe, right, John?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation made by the engineer. Again, to approve the removal of 6 antennas, isn't it, with the replacement of 3 and the addition of 3, if I recall?
Yeah, 6 antennas and 3 existing associated equipment with them, and install 3 new ones. Okay, is there?
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Gurecki to approve the modification of the existing wireless telecommunication facility for AT&T, seconded by trustee Kalinsky. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, now we get into awarding bids for 2022 road program from Rookerd and Milky recommendation. Chris, you want to take this, I hope?
Certainly. Good evening. Yeah, I'll certainly take the first one,
All right.
which is in regards to the 2022 road program in the village. We opened bids on Tuesday morning. I have a letter that I think should be in front of you, which is our recommendation, kind of summarizes what happened. I'll kind of give you the Cliff Notes version here. Wolf Paving, we got 2 bids, one from Wolf Paving in the amount of $353,358.25. And we got another bid from Payne and Dolan in the amount of $492,352.60. As you know, I think my estimate and the village's budget was far below that. What we heard at the bid opening was specifically from the representative from Wolf Paving was that they've had I think he said 4 price increases in the last several months, relating to oil. Gas prices, as you know, are pretty high. Asphalt tonnage prices are kind of through the roof at the moment. So, after the bid opening, DPW Noli, myself, clerk and president talked about what roads we should do. We had, if you recall, we had bid several roads, and work to be done in those roads, and we sort of tried to prioritize and narrow that down. And what we decided was that we were going to award the work to Wolf Paving for the work in MacArthur Road, Woodmere Terrace, Maple Hill Court, Sunset Drive, and Downing Drive in the amount of $239,716.25. So I would say this is probably on the order of 2/3 or 3/4 of the roads that we bid. And I would say your main roads and higher priority roads to be done. So with that, our recommendation, which you can read in front of you, is to award that work to Wolf Paving in that amount for those roads. As you know, they've done this work before. They're well qualified. They've done our road program in past years and have done great work. If you so choose to accept our recommendation and award the work, that work to them in that amount, I've got a notice of award that should be signed and dated, and that'll kind of kick things off and get contracts started. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions or.
So, Mr. Janelli, were the roads chosen, those were all the lowest Pacer rating, correct?
I would say that the roads that we bid were the lowest Pacer rating roads on the list that was provided. I think on the list that was provided earlier this spring, there were probably, I'm just gonna take a guess, 20 roads. We took the lowest of those, the most important, and put out a bid. That bid contained, the bid summaries in the back. Contained MacArthur, Cambridge, Woodmere, Maple Hill, Crestview, Hidden Court, Sunset, and Downing. So was that 8 streets? And so I think we're basically doing all the work other than in Crestview and Hidden Court. I think is how it shook out. And Cambridge. We're not doing the work in Cambridge.
It sure became a short list.
It did, yeah,
Due
in a
to our
hurry.
budget and expenses.
Yeah, I think if you were to look at some of the prices there, I think some of the, certainly the asphalt prices are a good $15 to $20 higher this year than they were last year. Even some of the stone prices are quite a bit higher than they were last year, so.
That's just transportation and.
Yeah. Material,
The
labor.
stone prices are basically transportation costs, I'm thinking of
Yeah,
trucking and
pretty
stuff,
much.
but the others is basically petroleum-based product is the asphalt and all that,
Right.
so it's what it is at this point, I guess.
It is.
I think we're gonna be over budget on this, right, Chris?
Just a little bit.
A little bit, so we,
Yeah, I think the number bantered around for the village's budget was 230. And I think,
Yep.
when I put my estimate together originally, I was at 272, 275, something on that order. And we had discussions, a month ago about what we should do, and I suggested, well, let's just bid it all, because you never know where things can come out. And so we did, and unfortunately, we didn't come. I was your low bidder this year. So, yeah, unfortunately, you can't.
When do you
can't-
start?
You can't accept my bid. So, yeah, I don't, I think if 230 is the number, it looks like we're gonna be about 239. I would say that, like in previous years, what we've done is, I bid it the same way this year. We have, some work that's in here that might not be necessary. You know, undercutting in particular. We don't really know, if the undercutting that I've bid is actually gonna be what's required. So that's,
So that 239 may come down when final work
it
is
could
done?
come down, it could also go up, right? I mean, we may run into, it's been several years since we've had more undercutting that we had to do than we've bid. But usually I'm overestimating, and for this reason, right? So that you're kind of more prepared on the high end than you are on the low end. So, as you know, the quantities, the payment to the contractor at the end of the day is based on the quantities of work installed. And undercutting is one of those that could fluctuate quite a lot.
So at this point, we basically can approve this, and then, depending on the price at the end, we may have to do a budget amendment later,
Or you may not.
or we may not, yes. I'd rather we do the latter, if you don't mind.
Correct, yeah.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely try to do it that way.
Okay. So, we need a motion to accept the 239,000 for Wolf paving? Get them started?
I'll make a motion to approve the bid to Wolf without the 10% contingency.
Okay, with the 10% contingency is?
Yeah, I have a letter that we
Yes.
normally recommend that communities, you know, look at their budget and then add 10% just for the reasons we just discussed.
Okay. Do we have a second to that? I'll second it.
Okay, we have to make it clear, this is to accept the recommendation. We're not accepting the whole bid, because that's a
Correct.
whole lot higher.
Oh,
We're
that is,
accepting the bid as recommended by the village.
So allow me to, if I may, I'll move to accept the recommendation of Rookerd and Milky and the bid from Wolf Paving, but without the 10% contingency in the cover letter.
is that okay, John? All right. And I'll second that. It's moved and seconded to accept the Wolf bid, the amount of 239 without the 10% contingency. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, moving on to C. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, B. Oh, that's the one, never mind. Award bid for 2022 asphaltic seal coating of roads with black boiler slag. Chris, do you have that? Which one is that's flex patching? You gotta bear with us, we have a lot of them here.
The boiler slag, we did not accept any bids.
Wait a minute, we didn't get any, or did we not just?
We received some, but they were very high, so after discussion with Jerry, we did not accept any.
Well,
of
the
them.
board has to make.
Well, that is the recommendation.
Recommendation. Okay,
So why doesn't you or Jerry explain what came
Yeah.
in, what we had budgeted, what you're getting rid of, what the consequences are? How's that?
All right. We've only got so much money in our budget for contracted street maintenance to the tune of $70,000.
And the contracted street maintenance, Jerry, include what? Black slag, crack filling?
Boiler slag, crack fill, and flex patch.
And how much do you have for those three items approximately?
We got a bid for $46,684.
No, how much do you have total for those three items?
70,000.
70,000, okay. I'm just trying to piecemeal it, because everybody
Okay.
didn't, have
All right.
everything that you had. And so the first one that you're talking about is which of the three?
Is the chip seal or boiler slag, same difference.
Okay.
So we had to chisel away from that $70,000 mark, obviously. So we're gonna delete that one. We're gonna let that go possibly till next year. That's okay. We only got so much money to work with. Our crack fill came in, Chris, what was the number on crack fill?
right here. 50, is that it? No.
Do you want the bid? The original bid was 87,148.70.
Yeah, so we had to chisel that down to about 33,000, okay? We had to delete some roads to make that work. The flex patch, I don't know what the, what was the total bid on that one?
The total bid on that one was 52,260.
Okay, so we had to chisel about 32.6 out of that, and that brought us within budget.
Okay, and who was that to?
What's that?
What was the company for that one?
Crack filling was a new company, I forget what the name of it was, they're out of Green Bay.
American
American,
Pavement
is
Solution.
American?
Yep,
Is that
yep.
it? Okay.
I believe the flex patch and the chip seal was bid out by Farner, who won the bid. So what we had to do is we had to dissect it, just like we had to do with the paving, to bring it within budget.
Okay.
So one question, Jerry. So these roads that were removed, how was that decision made? Are those the highest?
Well, you gotta prioritize, and you gotta do what you gotta do. It's
So what criteria were used to make that decision?
I guess checking the roads out.
The
personal-
condition?
Personal opinion, the condition of the road.
Okay.
Can we let it go a year? Came Terrace, what I wanted to do is I wanted to chip seal it, because that road's probably like at a 5 or a 6, which is a pretty good road. It was crack filled last year. I thought if I go in and chip seal it, I can get 6-7 years out of that road. But I don't have $46,000 to do it this year.
But you think we can get by with another year with it
It'll
that
go
way?
another
Cane
year.
Terrace?
But we may have to go back in and crack fill it next year, because you should do that before you do that maintenance.
And the reason I'm asking, so when I go around talking to these neighbors, and they're
Gonna be real happy you're not chip sealing it.
well.
Yeah, they will,
what-
because they all hate it, because it goes in their dog's paws and all
What they're
that.
really upset about, though, is the condition of the roads in a lot of
The
cases.
condition, Cane Terrace is a good road, still got a good crown in it, and you could probably buy 6-7 years out of that road if you
I-
chip seal it.
I understand, and I know that these are tough decisions.
Okay.
We have to answer to the residents
Right.
as to why their road wasn't done.
So, we basically cut like 79, almost $80,000 out of these projects. I just wanna know, you had $70,000 budgeted to do all of these, correct?
Yep.
So what we cut out is more than you had in your budget. So you might wanna think about that at budget time.
No problem. I know.
I mean,
It's always the
it's
same
tough. We had to do
problem.
the same thing with the paving. We gotta do the same thing with everything else.
Yep.
So,
We're gonna come up with some more money.
pay cut?
What was your name again?
So,
Okay. I guess we award the crack filling, flex patching to these low bidders,
Well,
correct?
don't we have them 3 different agenda items?
Yes, there's 3 different items on the
And-
agenda.
Did we have other bids for these services, or did you just throw out the 2 higher bids?
yeah, well, we had 3 different bidders, and, obviously we throw out the higher bidders, you know? I mean, Thunder Road has done a lot of work for us. They came in at what, $40,000 more? And, I mean, they do good work, but we went with the lowest bidder. And these companies that we got, as far as Farner, they're very reputable. They've done a great job for us before. The crack filling, I have no experience with them, but they got credentials. They met bid specs, so that's what we're gonna go.
So the first one is award bid for the 2022 asphalt seal coating roads with black boiler slag. It's my understanding that the recommendation of the DPW director is to reject all bids and do no black boiler slag work this year.
Correct.
Yep.
We need a motion to that effect.
I also move. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to not accept any bids for asphalt seal coating and then black boiler slag. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Award bid for 2022 flex patching of roads. That was, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, I'll move to accept the DPW director's recommendation on this bid.
And that's to issue to Farnham? Or is this the Green Bay Company?
No, Farner.
Farnham.
Farner?
Yep.
And does Chris have a list of the roads that you're recommending?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
got it
he
right
does.
here.
Oh, you've got it all in
Yep,
front of you?
it's
I'm
here.
sorry. Okay.
Only reason I'm not getting too involved here, they did this, I couldn't make it to the opening for this, so these guys, Jerry and Chris did most of the work on this, so. Anyway,
So everybody has a list of the roads that are being recommended? Good, okay. Because it's not all of them, is it?
No, no, we eliminated,
No.
one subdivision we basically eliminated, but all the roads are listed.
Thank you.
okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the bid,
No,
didn't I? I thought I did. Mike moved it, I'll second it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't make it loud enough. To accept the bids for Farnham for flex patching of roads. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Award bid for 2022 crack filling of roads. That's from American Pavement Solutions in the amount of $54,097.35.
I'll make a motion to accept the DPW director's recommendation of American Pavement Solutions and their bid in the amount of $54,097.35.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Moving on to F, fireworks permit for Legend at Beryl Hills, LLC on July 2nd, 2022. Chris?
This particular fireworks permit is for a wedding that was scheduled after the last board meeting, so it had to get onto this agenda.
I will move to accept or approve the fireworks permit for Legend Hills at Merrill Hills.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there a second?
I just had a question, Mr. President.
Can you just, can we get a second, then we can just go into discussion?
Sure, I'll second.
All right. It's moved and seconded by moved by President to accept the fireworks permit, seconded by Gurecki. Any discussion?
Yeah, my one question, I noticed the insurance certificate for the fireworks vendor, but reading through the contract, it looks like the liability for any damage to adjacent properties falls on the host, Merrill Hills, the venue. If somebody could refresh me, do we typically receive a certificate of insurance from Merrill Hills? Have we done that in the past? The only reason I ask is it wasn't included in the packet. I just want to make sure that they're insured, so, and I imagine they are, but
Yeah, I always
That's my
assume
only
that
question.
the Merrill Hills or the host is also, covered by insurance. But I can't honestly say that.
I would
Sure.
imagine that they are. I just
I
want
would
to be
think they would have
careful.
insurance, period, like, I'm sorry.
Was that the one in the packet, Chris?
That's what I thought it was.
The one in the packet looked like it was for the fireworks vendor, not for Merrill Hills, unless I overlooked it. Right at the top in the upper left, it should state the insured.
It says Mystic Fireworks is the insured. Producer Rosacker McHugh Huston, MGD by Hall and Company.
That's my only concern with this.
Yeah, I'm not,
So perhaps Attorney Macy, you could advise us in if Merrill Hills was somehow uninsured and there was some damage to a nearby house, since the contract between Merrill Hills and the fireworks vendor states that Merrill Hills is liable, could the village somehow become liable in the event that they're uninsured?
Well, if you say possibly could, the answer, of course, is always sure, they could sue you. I don't, by the mere fact that you approved the license, or the permit doesn't usually in and of itself. So I had suggested, this is the second one we've had this year. The other one was for Merrill Hills to have fireworks on the 4th of July, correct?
Yes, for this.
And I had suggested to Chris at the meeting that she go back and follow whatever procedures we had established in the past, because we had sort of set up procedures. I did not pull, okay, the state statute says the president can approve these. Most chief presiding officers of the communities I work in say, no way in heck am I approving these without bringing them to the board. Okay?
I can see the point of that.
And so I just share that with you. So I see these on agendas, often, and each community either has an ordinance as to what they require, or they have had a policy. I have very few communities that don't have a policy. And that policy would establish whom you want to see. In part, one of the aspects of the policy would be whom in part you want to see the insurance certificate from. I've been trying to find mine in the packet, but I'm now going to the ordinance, but I'll stop and let you ask any questions.
I was just going to ask the clerk if the requirements have been satisfied. Could you please confirm?
It's the same company, same venue as was the original July 4th, so.
Maybe that's something we should look into, I guess.
I hate to cause a delay to somebody's wedding, to be sure, but I think that we've got some risk here that we at least need to address or confirm that we followed the policy.
What do you want to see a policy from Merrill Hills stating that they're responsible for any damages done to neighboring properties? Is that what you're saying, Mike?
Not necessarily. If our village policy, if our ordinance and our procedure to the attorney's comment, if we've followed that, I'm okay with that.
Okay,
But
can we maybe, to get this thing moved along, can we maybe approve this subject to getting?
Okay, we have an ordinance.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give Chris the number so she can look. 16-2, regulation of fireworks. Application requires the address and exact location, the date and time, the name of the organization, person responsible, the name of the organization in charge of the fireworks display, and the permit fee established by resolution. The applicant shall file a certificate of insurance with the application issued by the insurance company licensed to do business in the state in the minimum amount of $500,000, with certificate of insurance will provide for the payment of all claims that may arise by reason of the injury of person. It goes on and on and on. Chris, in the past, we've always approved these subject to meeting the requirements of the ordinance and the other past practice or conditions that the municipality has imposed on them. I'm just telling you that since I started here, that's what the rules have been in the what it's for worth column.
And excuse me, the applicant is the fireworks vendor or Merrill Hills?
I don't know. What does the
Well,
application
it
It's a
says
fireworks
fireworks
vendor.
permit for Legend at Merrill Hills.
So it seems to me that the requirements are satisfied. So based on that, I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the application as submitted, since
But I want your past practice to be a subject to the clerk confirming that the ordinance has been satisfied and any conditions of your past approvals are included. Because then we're following past practice.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So would you like me to incorporate that language into my motion?
Yes, please.
Oh,
You can just say understood or so moved. I'm
so
on tape.
moved, yeah.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
There's a whole section on prohibited locations that they have to follow and things, and so we just want to say that, we're including those as part of the approval.
I'm not even going to try to repeat that, so I'm going to
not
just
asking
go ahead and ask, thank you. I'm going to ask, all those in favor of the permit for Legend at Merrill Hills for fireworks on July 2nd, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Moving on to G, Judy Miller non-compliance update. She is now in compliance. I don't know if you guys remember her. She was the one that we extended time to do, and she came back in for a second one, and it's great. I want to send some fireworks up over that one, so. Liquor license renewals. The Legend at Merrill Hills, LLC. Chris, do you want to take these? No. You don't want to take them? Okay, let's move it on. The Legend at Merrill Hills. Let's take that one first.
I'll move to approve the application submitted for the liquor license renewal at the Legend of Merrill Hills.
It's moved and seconded to approve the liquor license for the Legend at Merrill Hills LLC. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Second one, Lilac Acres Farm.
I'll move to approve the liquor license renewal application for Lilac Acres.
I'll second it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Neighbors Bar and Grill.
I'll move to approve the liquor license renewal application for the Neighbors Bar and Grill.
Moved and seconded for Neighbors Bar and Grill. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Tally's Tap and Eatery.
I'll move to approve the liquor license renewal application for Tally's Tap and Eatery.
All those in favor of signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Tally's Tap has been approved. Operators licenses. Exhibit A. What's Exhibit A? I don't have it here.
Yep.
The list.
Okay. All of these?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Legend at Merrill Hills first. Grace Alexander, Jacqueline Fellon, Jay Cross, Claire Jeffers, Adam Martin, Samantha Peterson. This last one is not working there any longer, so she's pulled her name off. So, do we have a motion to approve those?
Are you doing all of them or just each individual?
Well, I just read them all. I mean, do we have a problem with any of them that we need to?
I had one question.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
This one's been added and that one was added.
Yep.
So on the page 1 of the application, down at the bottom under check 1, the second checkbox says, I have completed the responsible beverage servers training course. Certificate is required. And I noticed in the packet, I think only one of the certificates of completion was included in any of the applications. I'm just curious if the clerk has received or has on file that certification or that certificate for these other applications.
The certificates are on file for these renewals of these operators licenses.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Do we want to take these all individually? We can do this, approve them as I just read them all, or what's your pleasure?
If we're allowed to, I don't have a problem making a motion to approve the first batch as read into the record.
I think they've approved in the past the whole list.
The whole list,
Yeah.
not just individual
No, not the
bars?
individual bars. I believe it's been the whole list.
Okay.
That's what it looked like last year.
That's what they did in the past, is all of them. Okay. Do we need to read them then?
You mentioned that those two were added.
Yeah, all right. I'll go down the list here. Lilac Acres Farm LLC, Christina DeLeon, Adam Jewell, Sarah Jewell, Aaron Klein, Lauren Koenig, Christy Nimich, and Michelle Navarelle has been added on to that list. Tally's Tap and Eatery, Matthew Brettel, yeah, we can do that one. All right. Sydney Ehlert, Shelley Fahey, Jessica Gettleman, Chad Gorotowski, Cheryl Green, Stephanie Gorski, Pearl Hess, Benita Jones, Lindsay Meyer, Caitlin Minch, Peyton Ropas, Serena Stepansky, Victoria Tallinger, Lindsay Warren, Elizabeth Watkins. Neighbors Bar and Grill, Eric Bradley Bartleson, Natalie Honstein, Kevin Kralkamp, Sarah San Miguel, Nicole O'Krent, Christopher Potratz, Annie Sobrowski, Rachel Vorperl, Tyler Webb, and Lauren Wessel was added as a renewal.
So, Madam Clerk, do we have approved applications for the renewing applicants, and I noticed the applications for the new, those added to the list, correct? Everything, my question, for everybody on this list, we have an application that's either already been approved or it's included in the packet for our review and approval, correct?
Everyone on that list is a renewal, so yes, they've all been included in the packet.
I think there are 4 that we have applications for?
That are new, yes, and
Okay.
that's why they're listed out separate, and actually, we're down to 3, as the one is no longer going to do the bartender's position.
So I'll make a motion to approve the list as submitted.
Okay. Can I, you gonna make up Matthew Brettel now, just bring him up? You want to do that, just approve it as? Oh, okay, you got a different, all right, okay. Okay, it's moved to approve the list for operator license list for 2022. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done.
All right, I gotta go back to the fireworks for a minute for Chris.
Okay.
I went back to the other packet. All 3 of the certificates do not look like they're appropriate. One listed the town of Waukesha as an additional insured. One only lists Merrill Hills, and the one tonight lists the guy who's putting on the display for his wedding. They're supposed to list the village of Waukesha, I believe they have in every other year, as the additional insured in the lower right-hand corner. They can have all kinds of people who are insured, but I think our ordinance requires it to say that we are an additional insured on the insurance and on the policy. And I'm just bringing that to your attention, because I think that's what the prior clerks and administrators had required. So I just want to tell you, I think you just got to call them, tell them I need a certificate of insurance.
Yep, I think we can approve it with that
We did approve
stipulation.
it.
I mean, but we need to get that done to make it right.
No, I said, it's subject to the ordinance requirements.
all right.
I was just checking the details of what was in the 2 packets.
John, thank you.
And they're not adequate, but the
Good.
motions are adequate.
That was my so moved.
Okay,
That incorporated what you said.
all right. Good. Moving on to K, operator's license for Matthew Brettel. Pardon me? Oh, God, yes, I did. Sorry, Jay. Too many things going on here at once. Cigarette, tobacco license renewals, Legend at Merrill Hills.
I'll make a motion to approve the cigarette and tobacco license renewal for the Legend at Merrill Hills.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve this cigarette and tobacco license for the Legend of Merrill Hills. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Cigarette tobacco license for Tally's Tap and Eatery.
I'll move to approve the cigarette and tobacco license renewal for Tally's Tap and Eatery.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Now, operator's license for Matthew Brettel.
I'll move to approve the operator's license application for Matthew Brettel.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Operator's license for Christina De Leon. I will make the motion to approve.
I'll second. Before we vote, Madam Clerk, have you done the background check on Christina De Leon, Natalie Hohenstein, and Carissa Osteen?
Yes, they all came back with no record.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor for Christina De Leon signify by saying aye.
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 I think I did, Chris.
Mike did, I did the first. Sorry. Operator's license for Natalie Hohenstein.
I'll move to approve the operator's license application for Natalie Hohenstein.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the operator's license for Natalie Hohenstein. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Operator's license for Carissa Osteen.
I'll move to approve the operator's license application for Carissa Osteen.
She is no longer going to be an operator, and she did not present me with a certificate that said she had completed the course.
Okay, so that's
I'll withdraw my motion then.
Thank you, yes.
that's good. Moving on to
Thank
O. Parking and loitering on Merrill Hills Road. This is kind of an update because we got some thing I think is going to be coming out of the county. I'm hoping to get the county to come up with an ordinance saying they're going to allow no parking on the Merrill Hills, for lack of a better word, parking area up on the end of Merrill Hills Road where we've had problems with kids, I should say young adults, whatever, are terrorizing the neighborhood up there with their vehicles and having parties up there and things like that. I've been getting emails from people, especially the people on the road to the east of that, also people on the road, the Christian church, or Christian school rather, down the road. We've had our deputy has been sitting up there on all his free time, and that's pretty much curtailed a lot of the problems, but They have no signage up there or anything like that, and it's a county road yet. We have not taken over that in the village, so hopefully we can get that done in the next month or two. The deputy will have some tools to use up there to enforce that, and hopefully this thing will come to an end.
So, Mr. President?
Yes.
Have you received any response from Supervisor Kolb?
Yes.
On that? Okay.
Yes, he has, I
Great.
believe, actually, John sent him an email. I have sent emails to him, but John sent one to him, and he did get a response, correct, John?
I did,
Yes.
several responses.
Yeah. So hopefully that will be taken care of, but yes, Supervisor Kolb has responded, so. Anybody got any questions on it at this point other than that? I think it's gonna get done. It seemed like he was pretty adamant about wanting to getting it fixed and. Okay, proposed ordinance, nope, I'm sorry, update on Center Road House. Vicki and I talked right after we had our board meeting about getting it done. She had some issues with the building she wanted to be corrected, which we can take off the statement stating what's wrong with it and things like that. So I had a guy come in and fix some things, some electrical outlets and put some insulation in the static and kind of just went over it, and we got some of those things taken off of that. Then Vicki and I signed the paperwork on it, I believe on Tuesday. It's today, Thursday, maybe Monday, I'm not sure the date, but I did get it this week. It's been listed, so we're on our way with that.
What was the listing price?
$389, I believe we decided to do it at. I think it's $389, Mike, I'm pretty sure. $390, okay, close enough.
What did you pay for it again?
$350, I believe.
Yep. So we'll see. Vicki had a couple prospects already before she even listed it, so hopefully this will work out. Proposed ordinance language concerning discretion of village staff and placing items on upcoming village board agendas. I believe I would like to table that till the 28th. Is it the last board meeting of the month? July, yes. I mean, I want the full board here for some of these things. I think it's kind of ludicrous for three of us, so I would like to move to table that till the July 28th board meeting. Moved and seconded to table it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Discussion and possible action regarding a requirement to send all spending of $1 million or more to a referendum. Mike, I think that's yours.
To your point, I think it makes sense to table that item until we have the full board. I have received some input from other residents on this, so I'd like them to be here as well. So I'll make a motion to table this item to the board meeting on July 28th. Is that the correct date, Madam Clerk?
Yes, it is. Moved and seconded to table D, discussion and action on sending all spending of $1 million or more to referendum. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Discussion and possible action regarding requiring solicitation of 3 competing bids on all spending of $25,000 or more for a single item, $35,000 in aggregate on a single project. Mike, this is yours also.
I'll move to table this item until the full board meeting on July 28th, 2022.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to table this item. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's tabled. Okay. Announce closed session. You are hereby notified that the village board of the Village of Waukesha will convene in May upon motion duly made and seconded and acted upon by roll call vote as required to go into closed session during the course of the meeting. Village board members may attend the closed session. The purpose of the closed session will be as follows. Under Wisconsin Stats 19.85, 1G, for conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, specifically to discuss the lawsuit filed against the village by Brian T. Fisher and Eileen Fisher. I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into closed session. Roll call vote, please.
Kalinsky.
Aye.
German. Stigler.
Aye.
Gurecki.
Aye.
Buckles.
We are in closed session. I know what you mean.
talking in there, guys, you're a quorum.
So you can't go in there and talk, you two.
So, you know. It's a heads up.
You've been,
Oh, jeez, I didn't mean that.
I better shut your door. Discussion and possible action on items discussed in closed session. There are none. Accounts payable authorize the payment of bills in the amount of $104,590.76.
I'll make a motion to approve payment to the bills in that amount.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the payment of the bills. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Motion to adjourn. I will make that. Seconded by trustee Kalinsky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you.